Some actors get all the fame and glory, while others work tirelessly to build a stellar profile. Denver Pyle was a little bit of both. He was billed as one of the greatest character actors of all time. He eventually had mainstream success later on in his career. His mark in television was created early on with his portrayal of the patriarch of the Darling family on The Andy Griffith Show. Then after many smaller roles on television, including a stint on the Doris Day Show, he finally received widespread recognition as Uncle Jesse on The Dukes of Hazzard. He grew up in a small town in Colorado that had a population of about 90 people before the Second World War, and his parents named him after the state capital, Denver. He had a well-known older brother who was famous for his work behind the camera. His name was Willis Pyle, and he animated classic Disney films like Pinocchio, Bambi, and Fantasia. After graduating high school, he decided to start studying at the University of Colorado to become a lawyer. The future actor quickly realized law wasn't for him, and he returned home before traveling the country for a couple of years. Now, he was cast as the father on the Doris Day Show, but he was actually only 2 years older than Doris Day. He was born in 1920, and she was born in 1922. He got the inspiration that he played in that role from his own father. He said that his father was a man of tremendous dignity. He appeared in more than 140 shows, and his credits include things like Perry Mason, Gunsmoke, and Bonanza. On Perry Mason, he is one of the few that made the trifecta to where he was on the show 3 separate times. The Dukes of Hazzard was originally picked up in mid-season as a mid-season replacement. When he won the part as Uncle Jesse, he was only anticipated in appearing in 8 episodes, which was supposed to be the original run of the series. When the Dukes of Hazzard became a runaway success, CBS ordered a lot more episodes. Because of his success as a character actor, he received fame later in his career. He finally received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1997. Now, this was less than 2 weeks before his death on December 25th. He was looking real frail when he attended this ceremony. He wasn't supposed to speak, but he went ahead and did it anyway. Now, the character he plays as Briscoe Darling and Jed Clampett were darn similar hillbilly characters that they both played on television in the early 1960s, right down to their hats and mustaches. On the Beverly Hillbillies, Jed Clampett discovered a bubbling crude on his property and struck it rich, and he moved to Southern California. Briscoe Darling stuck to the mountains outside of Mayberry and found his true wealth in his musical family on The Andy Griffith Show. But in the real world, the actor who portrayed Briscoe Darling was a true oil tycoon. Denver Pyle became a very wealthy man from black gold. It wasn't long after he finished his time on The Andy Griffith Show that he began purchasing leases on oil wells. At the time, the price of oil was a meager $2.15 a barrel. He bought fringe-producing wells in Texas and Colorado that were mostly dissipated. But technology advancements in drilling would allow more of the oil to be sucked from those wells, just as the price of crude skyrocketed in the 70s. He partnered with a man named Otis Johnson to form Otis Energy. The firm kept spending its profits to buy more and more wells in Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, and Texas. He once stated that acting provided the cash flow that he needed for the oil speculation. He stated that he did acting for fun and made money in the oil business. His company headquarters were in Denver, Colorado, of course, and they're still in business today. Now, there are so many roles that he played during his career, it would be an act of futility to try to name them all. But just look for him on TV. You will see him in a lot of roles, and he won't look like he did as Uncle Jesse or as Briscoe Darling. Now, he sponsored a fishing tournament that was called Uncle Jesse's Fishing Tournament, and that was in Lamar County, Texas. In 10 years of operation, the tournament raised more than $160,000 to support children's programs in that area. It's my understanding that it's still going on to this day. In 1955, he married his first wife, Mary Lee, and she was a production assistant for 20th Century Fox. They ended up having two sons, David and Tony, in 1956 and 1957. They divorced in 1970, and in 1983, he married Tippy Johnston, and that union lasted until his death. Now, he died of lung cancer on Christmas Day, 1997. The memorial services were held January 6, 1998, at the First Baptist Church in Waxahachie, Texas. Now, he's actually buried in an unmarked grave in Foreston Cemetery in Ellis County. That's just south of Waxahachie. Now, I've wondered why in the world that he's buried in that unmarked grave with all the money he's got. The reasoning that I'm going to come up with is that he's buried next to his second wife's parents, the Johnstons. And I am assuming that when his second wife dies, they will both be buried there, and maybe a monument will be put up then. It's not uncommon for some celebrities to do that. I know John Wayne's marker was not put on his grave for like 25 years because they thought that somebody might try to steal it or, break things off of it and vandalize it. It, like John Wayne, does have a marker now, but I don't know. That's just my reasoning behind it. I have a good YouTube friend that has a YouTube channel and actually visited the site of his grave and did a whole video on it. And I'm going to leave you a link to that in the description of this video. His name is Rhett, and he's got a channel called RHETTYFORFUN. So check him out. That's a great channel, too. It has a lot of celebrity-type stuff to see also. Thank you, Denver Pyle, for the great characters that you gave us throughout your entire career. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and let's keep chasing the classics.